Hello. For the people who don't want to watch 40 minutes straight of talking, there's timestamps in the description that you can click. And when you click them, it will bring you to different parts of the video. Part 1 is a story. Part 2 is the main part of the video. Part 2.5 is another little story, and part 4 is just talking. So, yeah. Timestamps in the description to different parts of the video if you are a person with a short attention span. Or a shorter attention span.
So I'm living right side up in an upside down world.
Last episode I stated that he told a story about his craziest police story. His craziest police story, and I forgot to record it. So, he is now going to tell his craziest police story again for us today. Oh, and I know I didn't make an episode last week. He couldn't take me last week because of weather issues. So, yeah. So let's get into the episode. He's going to tell us the craziest story he ever had during police duty. So you're going to tell us this story about the craziest story you had as a cop?
Yeah, the craziest story, one of the craziest stories I have, and it's right up there with the top of things, was as an officer, I got a routine call of a neighborhood disturbance. It said the music, there was loud music and children were screaming for help. When I arrived, I got there about a minute or two before my supervisor, who happened to be backing me up because he was close by. When I arrived, the 15, 20 people in the neighborhood was all out, and they were all looking and pointing up to this house, pointing up to the upper part of the house. And I could hardly hear it because there was extremely loud opera music being played, coming out the windows, coming up. You could hear it through the house. That's how loud it was. And as they were telling me, the kids were crying for help. I heard the kids saying, "Help! My mother's trying to kill us. Our mother's trying to kill us." And at that moment, my supervisor came up, and I waited for him, and we went up to the door and began banging on the door, hoping to have an adult come to the door to tell, so we could find out what's going on. So we knocked real loud. I actually used my nightstick because the music was so loud, and banged on the door. And nobody came to the door. So I stood on the edge of the stoop and looked so I could look in through the window. In the meantime, the whole time I'm doing this, the kids are screaming they need help, they're afraid. And they told my sergeant that they actually took their beds and the bedboard and pushed it up against the door so their mother wouldn't come in and kill them, because she said she was going to kill them. She was acting crazy. So I stood up on the door stoop and looked in, and when I did, there was this heavy-set woman coming through the living room, and she had wild sticking out hair with a baseball cap on backwards, and holding in her hand a meat cleaver. And as I looked, she saw me, and I stepped down. I said to my sergeant, "Holy cow, she is going to kill him. She's got a meat cleaver." He said, "What?" I said, "She's going," and she started heading for the steps, which were right in front of me, right in front of the door. So my sergeant, for some reason, I don't know what made him think this, but he yelled up and said, because we tried the doors and they were locked. He said, "Do you have the keys to the house?" And the one kid said, "Yes." So he told him to punch out the screen and drop the keys down. As he's saying that, I'm looking and she's going up the steps with the meat cleaver in her hand, and she's singing with the music. She's real loud, and she's slowly, step by step, walking up the steps. My sergeant reached down and picked up the keys, and he was nervous because I was telling him, hurry up, she's going up to get them. And he dropped the keys one time, and finally got the right key and stuck it in. And when we went into the house, she had already gone up the top of the steps and went to the right. We both drew our service revolvers because she had a meat cleaver. We could always go one step above the person's weapons that they had. And as we slowly walked up the steps, and I got to where you could look at the landing right up above there was nobody. And all the doors to the bedrooms and the closets and the bathroom, which I didn't know which was which at that time, all the doors were closed. So we slowly went up, opened the first door, took a quick look, she wasn't there, opened the next door. Of course, like a sergeant would open the door and I'd have a gun pointed in case she'd come running out with a meat cleaver to get us. And same thing, nobody there. And then we could hear the kids screaming, so we knew which room the kids were in. And then we opened up what turned out to be the bathroom door. When we opened up the door, the woman with the meat cleaver was still singing, music extremely loud. She was bent over into the bathtub, so all we saw was her butt and her legs, and she was hanging down over the bathtub. My first thought was, is she killing herself? What's the story here? The sergeant looked at me, I looked at him. Now we knew she had a meat cleaver, and we put our weapons in her holster because we didn't want to get tangled that close because we were so close. And we both moved at the same time and grabbed her. When we grabbed her, she kept rearing up, and she was a powerful woman. She came rearing up and pushed us back out the door. Because it wasn't that far, but we went back out the door, and then she began wrestling with us, and we turned around, and we broke the banister. She went down the steps before us, and then we went down the steps, and she was fighting us all the way down. We couldn't even hear each other. Couldn't even say how loud the music was. And finally, we got her down, and she was trying to fight us, but we ended up handcuffing her. One of the craziest things, it was like a movie to me. I still get chills as I tell the story every once in a while. It's like, that was really crazy. Yeah. So we noticed as we were falling down the steps that she did not have the meat cleaver in her hand. So after we got her cuffed and put in a police car, we went back in, and what she did was she went into the closet and she slid it in between some towels. We found the meat cleaver, and we let the kids out. And she ended up going to jail, and then of course we took her, she ended up going to the police station, and my sergeant said take her to the hospital to get her treated for her possible mental illness, which she was committed for that. So that's my story. I had a different worldview at that point. There's two worldviews, and I think I've told you both of them. Can you recall the two worldviews? One of them, the majority of the people operate under, and the other one, I operate under.
What are you saying?
Well, the way we respond to life, our view of the world and how we live in it. There's basically two. I'll give you the one is everything came from nothing. It just accidentally began, and we're all just particles, atoms, and we're slowly progressing, even though basically that's it. We're particles and atoms, and that's who we are, what we are. And only by accident did we get here, and it could take just another accident, we'd be out of here. And our art, today's art and music and philosophies and most of the world's religions are based on that you have no control of your life, it just happens. So then what is the other worldview?
And we talked about this last time. The other worldview is that everything came from something, and there's a overseeing being that controls everything.
Right, and intelligence,
Yeah.
way beyond our intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
We're just a small aspect of that intelligence, but there is something behind it. And then, of course, the first worldview says it can only operate from the fact that you do not have free will. I mean, that you do have free will. I'm sorry, I got that backwards. The first worldview of we're just meaningless atoms and we're just moving along, so therefore nothing really counts, is we have free will, so we can make choices and do things because we've grown to that point where we can. And of course, the word free means we're not under, nothing can interfere with it. Whatever we free willy with it. Whatever we free will choose is coming from a mind that hasn't been influenced at all. We're making free of any past experiences to make decisions. And then the other worldview says, well, no, we don't have free will.
Sorry, I'm laughing because you said free willy.
Did I say free willy?
Yes.
Well, I didn't even realize I said that. Well, that's okay, laugh. Okay, so free will
That was hilarious.
is the majority of the world's view. And that way you think you're the kingdom, you're in charge of your life, and the world is basically saying, there's a lot of leaders from different countries. Every country has a leader, but ultimately they're heading towards a globalistic thought. Everybody will be under one system, and it'll be run by just one person. And that way it will have a global system. But it'll be another human being. If you believe the way I believe, it may get close to that. And I think it'll ultimately break down to something, it'll all begin to fall apart. But ultimately, if you believe in the other way, there's something in charge. It'll allow us to go so far, and then it will self-correct. And in the end, good will overcome evil. We're living in a kind of a dark world, dog-eat-dog world. Most people's minds are there. Now, my mind has switched. I made a paradigm shift. My thoughts and beliefs come from a different worldview. So even when I was telling you that story of my encounter with that crazy woman, I had to shift my mind back to those days because I no longer think like that, thinking about what I had to do and how it went. So that's basically those two worldviews. Now, let me give you an explanation, a little idea. I may have told you this before, so bear with me. How I see myself in the world. Okay, there was a time many years ago, I'm talking about maybe 15, 20, 25 years ago, there was an article where a woman in the Air Force was one of the first pilots, and you do tests when you're first doing it. Well, she flew into a bunch of clouds, and she got disoriented, and she was upside down, thinking she was right side up. So when she was flying upside down through the clouds, and in a jet, when you pull your stick forward towards you, you'll start to rise. Your nose, the plane will go up. Mm-hmm. Well, since she was upside down and she pulled the stick, she crashed and burned. She actually, because she thought she was right side up, she was not.
Oh my God.
So, using that story, here's how I see myself. There's a fleet of jets. I'm one of the jets in the middle, say, and I'm going down the middle, and we enter these clouds, and we're doing our rolls and turning upside down, and all of us, for a period of time, were all upside down, thinking we were right side up. I happened to catch a glimpse through a break in a cloud. A truth came to me. Holy mackerels, we're flying upside down, thinking we're right side up. And of course, I'm the only one who sees it. So I right my jet, I turn right, so I'm now flying right side up, and the rest of them are still upside down. So I radioed to everybody. I'm trying to tell everybody, you're upside down. Don't pull your joystick. You're going to crash and burn. Stop it. Right yourself up. And what do? They all look at each other and they say, wait a minute. There's a dozen of us. You're the only one the other way. You're upside down. We're all right. So our world is okay. Your world is upside down. So again, I keep saying, you're upside down. You're upside down. And there's a way to make it right. Just roll your plane. Stop going in the direction you're going. And the old biblical term means repent. Stop and turn around. Now you're right side up. So I'm moving. Stop and turn around. Now you're right side up. So I'm living right side up in an upside down world. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's good.
And I'm calling out the people, you, to see these two worldviews. The one worldview leads to crash and burn, destruction. You're going to end up being miserable, unhappy. They'll in the end saying, what was the meaning of all this? Why is my world upset? Why am I unhappy? Why isn't things going right? And I'm calling out the people, say there's another way of living with a capital W, way, another way, based on the idea that everybody needs to realize, and people need to realize they're upside down first, and then turn around and become right side up. But you can't do that till you hear the truth. I heard the truth. I see it. I operate from that truth.
And you told me this a long time ago. I was like talking about the planets or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned that Uranus, or Uranus is its proper pronunciation. Uranus was sideways. And you said, well, maybe all the other planets are sideways.
And that one's the right way.
Yeah.
There you go. Yes, we only go by what we're taught. And I try to use analogies. There's another word too. Because saying it to somebody that you're upside down, when you all look at each other, you say, well, we're all right. Even though they're not. A lot of people are basically unhappy. They're robbing, stealing, cheating on their friends, not telling people, cheating on their taxes, stealing, trying to get away with everything. I call it the dog-eat-dog world. And I was part of that. When I was a cop, I was part of that dog-eat-dog world. And now I just said, full stop, write myself up, and start to live from that idea. And that idea is freeing. It's endless. It's freeing. All I did is stop getting rid of the stuff that held me back, identifying myself as somebody. I used to identify myself as a police officer.
Okay, so you might notice that I begin to try and hold back a laugh, and it has nothing to do with whatever Grandpa's saying. It has nothing to do with the previous thing that had for the Free Willy thing. Has nothing to do with any of that. I start laughing because I think that I just randomly think is random crap sometimes. And this time, what made me laugh was I thought of my neck turning, like, loose and, like, weird, like, squiggly like a spaghetti noodle, but it's still neck thickness. And then it just, like, Flexible Man from Fantastic Four. And my head just went, whoop, and breaks through the window. That is what I thought of. Okay. And that's why I started laughing. I was laughing.
Police officer, as a husband, as a father, as a good guy, all the little things that your family tells you are. I had to peel that off and let it go. But I had one moment where I let go about 98% of it, because I saw the truth that everything I had been told, I had never examined. I just believed it. It just seemed real. My parents were upside down. They gave birth to me upside down, and I came right into that upside down world until the truth came to me. So everything that I look at everybody and I know all the time I'm aware they're out of whack. But I don't go around to say, hey, you're crazy, and stop. They put me in jail. Individually, I meet people and say, just want to let you know. And they're going to say, well, I don't see that. Well, you have to find out, is it true or not? And that's what I put on you all the time, right? Is it true? Find out if it's true. Anything else?
Nope.
You want to hit it? And we'll go in and work.
Oh my god, I need a drink of water. I left the water bottle downstairs. Okay, so in Planet Fitness, while we were on the treadmill, he tells me about a story. Well, I couldn't record it because in Planet Fitness, it's too loud to record. So basically, he told me a story of him being a police officer, and he walked in to the police station, and he walked up to the woman and asked her what police report did you want to do, because she said she wanted to do a police report. And so he walked over to the woman and said, what happened? Why'd you want to write a police report? And she said, I strangled my son to death. And apparently he was slow, and it was on the playground, and she just strangled him. For no reason. And walked 2 miles to the police station. Okay, back to the episode. This is where we're driving to Wendy's. Still have part of that Dave's Double left. That's a good burger.
Wendy's?
Yep.
Which is like 4 or 5 minutes away, according to my app.
Yep, but as last time, I don't care how short the drive is, because last time I was like, how long is the drive? 5 minutes, okay, I'm not going to record.
And then you were mad.
And then we were mad I was mad because we had a very interesting conversation in those 5 minutes.
I'm full of things, but you can tell me some interesting things too sometimes.
Oh yeah, because I told you about the one where, the nipple grabber, Lyle.
Oh yeah,
Lyle.
The purple,
which you can see with the white thing that pops up.
Have you ever eaten at Wegmans?
No, we haven't eaten there. We gotten candy from there though, and that's where my dad goes to get the grape juice for his wine.
Oh yeah. They do have a where you can choose all kinds of things, like maybe about from salad bars to Asian to regular pizza, all kinds of stuff. Maybe one day we'll try that out as something different in the future.
All right. Maybe next time.
All right. As
what?
You said, all right. That's what you said. That's what you said. You didn't even realize you did it. You went, all right. Maybe next time.
Okay. I didn't.
You'll edit that out, right?
Yeah, I'll play it back in the video
and see if you really said that.
Yeah. All right.
So, do you have it in your mind at all that you want to eventually, when you turn 16, 17-year-olds, to get your license?
Yeah, my dad said this summer, because it'll be 15 this summer.
Oh.
This summer, he is going to take me out into this school parking lot so I can drive around, because it'll be empty then, so I can practice driving.
Right, get a feel for it.
Mm-hmm.
It frees you up a little bit, and that way you're no longer at somebody's mercy. If you needed to go somewhere and your mom's busy, your dad's busy, you can just say, okay, I'll be back. Of course, it also, is a huge responsibility, because this is like, it's nice when it works well, but if you hit another car, you get hurt, or hit a telephone pole, you get killed, or you could just hit a person and kill them and you'd be okay. So there is a big responsibility when you drive. It's important to keep while you're driving. And a lot of young people, because of the way their brains are, they have this little thing in them to take a little bit more risk.
Yeah.
And as a police officer, I would imagine at least a half a dozen times I saw 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds who lost their life because they were driving a car too fast.
I played GTA 5. I haven't played it in a while, but in GTA 5, the R2 button, you can kind of control how far you push it down, and that's your gas. So it's like sensitive. So you can like push it all the way down, you'll go full speed. You can push it a little bit, you'll go a little like fast. You can control your speed. But it's like, I don't know how sensitive that gas pedal is, but I don't know if it would be like, I'm pretty sure it would be more sensitive because it's your finger pushing a little tiny button.
It's hard. Now, when I drive my library truck, it's diesel. If I'm sitting like this, I have to actually put the gas almost to the floor, and then it just goes, slowly builds up. But with gas like this, you just touch the gas slightly. Watch my foot. So if I push down, so it's almost like I'm stepping on an egg, and I don't want to break it. And then I slowly ease in. But I'd have to put it the truck.
Oh God! Like what the heck?
That's what you have to do if you're driving a diesel. You kind of really have, because it takes a while to catch up with itself. Here's my diesel.
Now, what if a cop saw us?
Well, I didn't go over the speed limit. I didn't go through the red light. I was under the speed limit when I did that, so it would be okay. And if I did go over the speed limit and the cop saw us, I would get a ticket. And then I'd have to tell a judge why I was doing that, and hopefully he'll be merciful and have some grace and give me a break. Otherwise, I'll pay a fine for doing it.
Or you could say I'm a retired cop.
It doesn't. Okay. It used to work years ago. Apparently, it doesn't work as well anymore, because everybody's cops are retired cops. And if I'm acting stupidly, I should get a ticket.
Yeah.
Really.
But I was saying, like, for people who play video games a lot, you could have this set up. I think it kind of is set up kind of like because there's buttons over here and buttons over there.
Your thumbs.
Yeah. But you could kind of control, like, with a controller. Like, in the movie, have you ever seen Men in Black? The movie?
I did, way back, the original.
Well, they made 3 of them.
Right.
And in the second one where they were flying the car, and it was like hyperdrive, and it was a controller, and they're controlling the car with a controller. So I was like,
a car like
you could really control a car with a controller for people who play video games a lot. Well, but in the future, you probably won't have to even control it at all, because it'll be autopilot. They should just put a steering wheel in there, like, to give an option of autopilot or not. That's
true. Now, some of the sports cars or race cars, this part of the steering wheel's missing, and this part, so all you have is a little bit here and a little bit there in the middle. So they do drive kind of like that. But this is for leisure, because you're driving a lot here. We're just driving along, so it makes it easier to turn and deal with. But the racers take
it could be like a Mario Kart. In Mario Kart, it's the button, and then there's 2 buttons on the steering wheel. There's 2 buttons over here. The button, they're labeled 1 and 2. 1 is to reverse, and 2 is gas.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right, well, let's go eat. Don't forget your thing.
I really need a water bottle. My mouth is like insanely dry. Okay. Oh yeah. mini fridge. Anyway, so we went to go eat. My mouth is dry because we had Wendy's. Oh, by the way, Wendy's, if you're so good, why is it that the first time I went into Wendy's, the fries were cold? Oh, and if you're so good, then how come your chicken nuggets suck? And if you're so better than McDonald's, then how come their chicken nuggets are better than your chicken nuggets? Even Burger King chicken nuggets are better than your chicken nuggets. Even Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets are better than your chicken nuggets. And I don't really like Chick-fil-A nuggets.
Okay, give me a...
You can put music on if you want.
As a background.
Yeah.
No, it's alright, we can turn it off. So you're leery that we may get home and there was a good conversation and you didn't record it, so you're going to be recording every time we drive now.
Yep.
You find the things we talk about that fascinating? That it's worth doing?
It's worth recording. Yeah.
And if there's nothing there, you can get rid of it and it doesn't take up space?
Yep. There was I saw a black line on the road.
A lion?
A black line.
Oh, a black line. Okay.
And then that's what we bumped on. But I don't know what the black line was. Maybe someone dropped a hairbrush or something.
Yeah, I didn't notice it. I did not notice that.
We definitely felt it.
Yeah, I heard that little bump. I should have seen it. I should have been more aware. I try to keep an eye on cars, and sometimes you got to be careful because if you hit some things, you'll get a flat tire. It'll cause you to get a flat tire.
Yeah.
And we don't need that.
Nope.
Oh, if I get a flat tire, you'll have a lesson. You'll learn a lesson.
Yep.
It'll be your first time for changing a flat.
And it'll make me late so I won't have to do any more schoolwork.
There you go. You love schoolwork.
No, I don't.
You're getting a head full of knowledge through schoolwork. I'll give you a head full of spiritual knowledge, but not quite the same knowledge. And to be a full person, you need to see most of the world will say that we're body and mind, and maybe refer to that as a soul, even though they may not believe in a soul. But from my perspective, we're three things: body, mind, and spirit.
Mm-hmm.
You're not born with a spirit. It comes to you at a certain point, and it'll be when you look out one day and you say, wow, I see what Grandpa Frank meant. Everybody's a mess, and they're upside down. They're eating each other alive and living miserable, and there's another way.
Mm-hmm.
That's called being born into the spirit, because then you'll now start operating from that perspective, which is the spirit of love, instead of anger, hate, frustration, hurting each other, hating each other, road rage. Sometimes cops killing the right people, sometimes they don't kill the right people, accidental deaths. So yeah, I've had a paradigm shift in my mind, and I no longer want to live that way. However, this is the tough part. I still operate in that upside down world. Just I try to remind myself every day that I'm operating in a world that almost everybody is not living up to their full potential. They're lacking the spirit. So the next time you get to thinking about our conversation, you can think of me as the one guy, or one of the few people who are living right side up in an upside down world.
Mm-hmm.
praying that one day you'll say, man, I'm sick of this world. I want to get into that other world.
What are those stickers on the back of that guy's car? Like N and a Y in the same place.
That means New York, just oddly, NY.
And then there's like, I think it's like a, I don't know.
Looks like an odd artistic face or something made out of a flag. The middle one?
Yeah, the middle thing right there.
And I think the one on the right is maybe Texas. You see the one Lone Star? They call themselves the Lone Star State. Can you see the star? Or is it too low?
I see this.
It's one star with a red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue.
Yeah,
flag.
but there's, I don't know. Maybe it's a baseball team. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. With a honorably discharged veteran, he's got an American flag tag.
Mm.
He definitely likes the American culture and the American flag. Is your mom with that? Oops.
There goes my burger.
Good thing you wrapped it, huh?
Yep.
I was going to say, does your mom and dad work pretty much every Wednesday? He seemed to be going other than when he was fixing the bathroom.
My mom and or my dad works like pretty much.
The 5 days a week thing.
Yeah.
So what's next for your braces? You have to go soon, or you still got a while to wear them?
I honestly have no clue when the next time I'm going is.
Do you have any idea how long you'll be wearing them even?
I've been wearing them. You're supposed to wear them for 2 years, and I've been wearing them for like maybe 6 to 8 months.
Oh, okay. So you still have a way to go.
Yeah.
Ways to go.
I don't know. Maybe it's like a year. I have no idea.
Have you noticed a difference yourself? Can you feel different? Or you're just so used to it you don't even think about it?
I will definitely notice a difference when I get them off, or when I get them tightened. I'll notice a difference.
Oh, yeah.
And then once, I think I got them on around October of last year, like 2016 or something, maybe.
Okay. So October 2017 would have been a year. So a year and a couple months?
Yeah, probably October 2018, maybe. How far along are you on Stranger Things?
I haven't gotten back to it. I think I watched the first 2 or 3. It didn't grab me anywhere near as much as the first one did. So I kind of said, I just forgot to go back to it, really.
Yeah, the first one had that kind of... They had different feelings. The first and second seasons had different... It is still good, though. The third season's coming out May, I think.
With the same characters?
Yeah, just the same characters. But it is still good. But I do agree, it wasn't as good as the first season.
The girl was living with the sheriff in his in some house in the middle of nowhere. And it seemed like it was just going on and on about that. It just didn't grab me. Compared to the quick, crazy things that were happening in the first one.
Yeah, well, what episode are you on?
I think I may have watched as much as the third one. I'm not think I watched at least 2 or 3 of them.
Oh, well, once you get into like the 5th episode, it gets pretty intense.
Yeah, the mother has a boyfriend who works in maybe a gift store or something.
Yeah, Bob.
So it does get back to some of the good supernatural stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that part. It just didn't grab me, so I didn't even realize it, but I just sort of haven't gone back to it, so I'm watching other things. So when I find some time, I'll try to get back into it again. And I take it you still haven't watched Gandhi.
Oh my god.
You don't have to. You never have to watch it. I'm not forcing you to watch it.
That was a while ago you gave me that one.
Yeah. It's long. It's good. It has some really good points about how our world is. And it's along the lines of, like I told you then, Gandhi, well, Martin Luther King studied Gandhi and Jesus. And that's when he came up with the movement, the peaceful, nonviolent movement of solving some issues. So whenever you watch it, we can have some good discussions about that.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever you're ready or whenever you choose, find a little time, sit down and watch it. The guy who plays Gandhi looks like him, especially as the movie moves along, like he really looked.
Oh, okay.
And he got one of the best awards ever. He got a major award for playing it, and the movie got a major award.
I didn't really think of it. I just thought it was actually Gandhi. I thought it was a documentary.
No, it's an actual movie of his life. Not a documentary. What would you call that? Like a docudrama, maybe? It's things he did, but it's not him, and go ahead.
I guess you could call it historical fiction.
Yeah, because they may have added a little bit that wasn't there to make the movie interesting. But for what I've read and studied with them, it's pretty right on.
Yeah.
It's spot on, as the British would say. Spot on.
American people say that.
Yeah. Try to figure out which way did your parents go most of the time, straight or to the right? I think I asked you that before. You said straight.
I think, yeah, straight.
When I came to see it today, I went straight. Really odd roof. Slide down.
Yeah, it is weird. It's like all the way down.
Yeah, probably not. Never noticed that before.
No windows on the top floor, so it just goes all the way down to all of them do that.
To the first floor, yeah.
You could easily just jump up there. Jump up and grab. Our houses have that too, but it's second story windows, so the roof is kind of higher up. But then there's a little tiny roof for like a second floor window thing that goes out over the little garden thing.
So it doesn't look like your mom or dad's here. You want to see if your sister is there to let you in, or
yeah, my sister will be there to let me in.
and if not, you come get the key. I'll wait till you make sure you go in. Have a great rest of the day.
Okay, bro.
See you. You can tell me some interesting things too sometimes.
Oh yeah, because I told you about the one where, the nipple grabber, Lyle.
Oh yeah,
Lyle.
the purple.
Which you can see with the white thing that pops up.
That means we're on?
Yeah. The white thing that pops up for the people that are watching this video, I'll edit it later so there will be a white thing that pops up here.
Oh. So you're right, Lyle.
Hmm?
I'm sorry, I got you mixed up. That's all right. I said, so you're going to write a word? You're going to write something there?
No, okay, I didn't finish my sentence. There's going to be a white thing that pops up that when you click on it brings you to the video on my YouTube channel where I tell about the video.
Okay.
Or the, Lyle.
All right, that sounds good. Don't know. You know, have you ever eaten at Wegmans? When I came to see it today, I went straight. I come this way. Hello there. You need some Velcro or something that'll keep it there.
Yeah.
Excuse the interruption. That was an intermission. You can go to take 5.
Actually, I'm going to cut it out and put it in the bloopers. Like last time.
Yeah.
But there's not going to be that much bloopers. Probably only that.
Yeah, we didn't have too many bloopers or false starts or anything.